Please welcome to the stage Jamie Power, SVP Addressable Sales with the Walt Disney Company, Ann Enright, Head of Global Media with McDonald's, and Tim Sims, Chief Commercial Officer with the Trade Desk.
All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. I feel very far from both of you. This is like an interesting setup. But thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys have both been driving so much innovation inside of both of your companies. And I'm just really excited for all of you guys to hear what's been going on both at Disney and inside of McDonald's. An incredible prep call with these guys last week, so I can't wait for you guys to hear. So, Jamie, let's start with you. So over the last year, Disney's made a bunch of big strategic bets that are really all centered around elevating the advertising opportunity across this incredible portfolio that Disney operates: entertainment, sports, parks, programming. This includes announcing expanded capabilities within Drax and our integration together, and opening up live sports ad inventory. So how have all of these moves, you've got all these things going on, you've got this incredible portfolio, how have all of those moves impacted partnerships within Disney, and how you're working with everybody in this room and some of the most sophisticated brands in the world?
Like, to be honest with you, they don't feel like bets. Like, if betting was this easy, clearly I'm going on red, right? And I'm not going to be sitting here next year because we have so much information. We are listening to our viewers, we're listening to our fans, we're listening to our advertisers, and there's so much data to tell us what we need to do. So, I mean, I really think that our job, from the publisher side, is to listen to what you guys want, check the data, and make sure we're doing it. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is make sure that we're easy to buy and that you can buy the way that you want. So if you want to buy on some data set, I want you to be able to do that. If you want to be able to buy via certain technology, want you to be able to do that. And then even things like we launched biddable sports yesterday. That wasn't a bet. Like, the viewership went there, the consumption is there, and we wanted to make sure that we're not just replicating the experience that's happening in broadcast, and that we're bringing together the magic of digital and TV and bringing it together so you can do different things. So it's not really betting. I mean, if it was betting, I love it here, but I will not be here next year.
I did think it was incredible. I shared this with you, but when we took our kids to Disney World recently, and I logged into the Disney app, like the Disney World app, to like navigate. If you guys have taken your kids there, you know what I'm talking about. And it knew who I was because I am a Disney Plus and Hulu subscriber. So that was very cool, and I think underlines what you're talking about with data. And McDonald's, I think, goes without saying, is one of the most beloved global brands with fans around the world. Even backstage, we were all telling our kind of childhood McDonald's stories, and everyone has one, which is just incredible. So do you mind sharing just an overview of the company's marketing vision and how it's driving both brand affinity and just market-specific goals, like guest count and sales?
Yeah. So for McDonald's, we look at our marketing vision as being culturally and personally relevant to build fans forever. And when you think about that vision, like, media is at the heart of that. We have a friend of McDonald's, Dr. Marcus Collins. I don't know if you've heard him speak or read his book For Culture, but he talks about fireworks and campfires when it comes to marketing. And fireworks are those big, like, moments where, you're relevant to all. And for McDonald's, we need that. We need that to drive our business. And then there are those campfires, those really intimate conversations where you get to be personally relevant and you're showing up in the spaces and places and around the passions that matter. And so, you can do a campaign that's a firework, or you can do a campaign that's a campfire. But really, when you bring those together within the campaign, you're able to think about both how are we driving the business and how are we gaining that brand love that really work together and kind of releases some of that magic.
It's incredible. Jamie, part of the reason we even started this event several years ago was there's this huge shift happening in, one, the way that media gets bought and sold, but also in just the structure of the upfronts and how upfronts are really starting to evolve. You guys have done the Tech and Data Showcase now for 4 years, right? 5, excuse me. It's evolved so much over the last few years, and it gives everybody in this room, I think, just a much more data-driven and flexible and measurable way to engage with folks like Disney. What are the key changes that you guys are seeing in your upfront conversations that are getting you really excited for the years to come?
I mean, when I was here last year sitting on this very stage, when I looked at our business, it was basically 60% PG, 40% biddable. If I look at the business this year, it's totally different. It's majority biddable. And then more interesting, when you're looking in the biddable channel, 70% of biddable spend is upfront commitments. So it's not scatter, it's not people coming in, it's clients choosing to interact within a biddable environment. Even I looked at McDonald's numbers, and in 2023, you were 30% biddable, 75% last year, and 96% of your spend with us is now in a biddable marketplace.
Yeah.
So like I said, this isn't betting, it's listening, it's seeing the numbers and the trends. And because of that, if I do a deal with you, if I do a deal with any of you, I want to make sure that deal delivers. And we need to make investments to make sure we have the tools to do that. Mm-hmm. So we've been working with you guys. You know, we have a direct connection with the trade desk that allows us to do a lot of things. It allows us to have higher match rates and make sure there's accuracy and there's more signals. Like, all of that is amazing. But when we see a trend like that, it also helps us action fast, because you guys saw around the corner and you're building tools to do that. Yep. So testing some of the functionality that you guys have right now to help us monitor an upfront deal. Because right now in our system, it just looks like, you know, it's someone on my team that's basically putting, UF next to it. And that is not a way to get like scalable insights. You can't pull it out. So how do we get more data, more metadata, understand what's happening? That way we can steward a campaign and make sure that a deal is a deal, and I want to make sure I'm delivering that deal, and I need tools to do that. And I think the connection that we have allows speed for us to go fast together.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're definitely calling out some areas that we need to improve, right? I mean, I was looking at this the other day. I think we have, some astronomical number of deal IDs that just like exist inside the trade desk system. And I don't just mean between trade desk and Disney. I mean like all up. It's some like ridiculous amount. And as I mentioned earlier, I think I put the first one in there. So again, my bad. But what are some of the upsides? We highlighted some of the areas for improvement. What are some of the upsides you think that come out of transacting those upfront deals programmatically?
I mean, I think it's the ability to come in the moments that matter, right? It's the flexibility. It's the ability to run across the same audience across the entire ecosystem, not just on Disney, a holistic campaign. You're able to quickly see what works, what didn't work, and make optimizations, and you're not just putting all your money down at the beginning. So I just think that flexibility is something in the world that's changing so fast, and you might not even know that you're going to have a problem tomorrow that you have. Like, everything. My job is totally different this year than it was last year. Mm-hmm. So I think it just allows us to be flexible, nimble, and make sure that the money's accountable.
Yeah. And I would imagine, so I think I had highlighted this a few years ago at this event. So the upfronts were created in 1962. I would imagine McDonald's probably has participated in almost all of them since 1962. But how has that approach inside of McDonald's changed with respect to TV buying over time? And there's a bunch of components here. There's planning, there's activation. What's changed the most in your time?
Well, I think it's more strategic now. We have a really clear way to think about strategically how does it come into the mix. It's everything that we're talking about when we think about how we can leverage first-party data, how we can think about frequency, how we can build unique reach, and all that's because of the data and the tech and the platforms that are allowing us to do it. So when we have those opportunities, you just get to use it more strategically than you have been able to in the past all the way through.
Yeah. Jamie, one of the biggest areas of collaboration we've seen in the industry is on initiatives around the supply chain. How does Disney's technology enable advertisers to find audience in these kind of signal-rich environments? You talked about the Disney Audience Graph a minute ago, and allow them to match up their first-party data to your data on the sell side?
Yeah, I mean, we have a data infrastructure that works. We are very privacy-focused. We take it very serious. We've built the Bridge ID, which essentially allows us to connect to UID2. It allows us to collect a LiveRamps ID. Any ID that a client wants to bring to it, it allows us to match in a way that's focused and privacy compliant. Even when you look at what the Bridge ID does for measurement, I think is something that we don't really talk about.
Yeah.
But having that scale and accuracy and measurement is so important because CTV brings new signals to the marketplace. And if you don't have a way to match and bring them all in, you might spend all this time and be so thoughtful and have the most thoughtful test design, and then you have no idea that you only matched on 9%. So I don't know about you, going back to gambling, I'm not gonna gamble on 9 if I only have 9% of the picture. So I think that making sure that there's accuracy and that there's data that you can action on. I also think some of the tools that we're putting in place to allow you to optimize in real time.
Yep.
Again, like I don't wanna wait till the end of the campaign to know that something didn't work. And by the way, if something doesn't work, it's okay. It's better to know it didn't work so you can kind of optimize towards the future.
Yeah. As you look out, Disney has, I think, been an incredible leader in terms of technology investment. You've obviously built quite a bit of technology in-house. What's on the roadmap in terms of progress to continue this journey to get a more precise and objective and transparent supply chain?
Yeah, I mean, so Compass is what we announced at CES around data. It's a UI that you can go in, you could plan, activate, and measure. That's phase 1 of it. I think the more exciting part for the marketplace is phase 2. And I think it's like when Disney and Paramount and everyone plays a different role, and it's more solution architecting. And figuring out how our data can live in your planning tool. How do you have actual data come from Disney so you can figure out the deduplication from linear? How do you figure out audiences that you already reached and make sure you're not reaching them again? And we also are recognizing that Disney is not and will never be a measurement company, but our job is to enable the measurement however and wherever you want to measure. And then also, too, we want you to be able to make smarter decisions when you're planning. I don't want you to guess the duplication between Hulu and Disney Plus when I can just give you the data so you can plan smarter. So I just think it's that world of sharing. But the other thing that is, there's so much out there, and Disney builds so much, and we get on stages and we talk about all the innovation that we can do. But I think making the connections that matter, the stickiness, and making sure that you can scale these ideas. So things aren't a one-off, and you're actually doing things the right way at scale.
I couldn't agree more. And we've talked about this premium opportunity today. Jamie brings up a good points here about measurement and effectiveness. I think all of this gives opportunities for brands like McDonald's to really understand the impact of your campaigns. What does effectiveness mean for the McDonald's media portfolio, especially when it comes to looking at this on a global scale? You sit in a global role. I can't imagine how you look across the world to understand media effectiveness. I would love to hear how you do that.
Well, we have a MMM mix, which is deployed locally. So all of our countries do it, but it's the same model across countries. And so what that allows us to do is really be able to do some meta-analysis, right? Understand those data-backed best practices, roll those up, have that foundation. And while we look at, of course, the standard, how much did we spend and how much revenue did we get back, we really go deeper than that. We look at how did it drive guest count? We take the spend out and look at the impact of that impression, and that gives really a level playing field for all of the channels, the partners, the formats, so that we really can understand for that impression what did it do. And we also take a look at the short-term impact as well as the long-term impact. And you can see differences in channels and in formats when you start to understand kind of the impact that it'll have in the immediate as well as how it drives your business longer term. So the MMM results, I think, are a great way to have that holistic view. But when you talk about you need something more real time, it's just one of those things in our toolbox, right? And so we have in different countries, we have other measurement tools that help us to understand within the campaign how can we get smarter, and they're always correlated back to our MMM because we know that's what's driving our business. But it's just one of the many things we have.
I'm picturing like this big global dashboard that you're sitting in front of, like monitoring your media investment around the world. It's fascinating.
We'll get working on that one.
Yeah, what a cool job. So this will be for both of you, but Jamie, I'll start with you. So quality data about ad placement, consumer engagement, it's really at the core of what marketers are looking for, as Ann just pointed out. How's Disney continuing to deliver those meaningful insights to advertisers about the performance of their campaigns across the entire portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, like what I was just talking about, like Compass. Yeah. Compass is now a place that you can go in and you can pull all your reporting, you can get your data. You can actually get any reporting across any DSP. So 2 years ago, if you went in a DSP and you wanted reporting from Disney, there was an NA. That was not okay. So now you're able, if you want cross-publisher measurement, if you're going to do a campaign across everyone, we want you to be able to measure it. We have invested in always-on measurement. So every single campaign you do at Disney, we give you the ability to do app downloads, web conversions, and we have a partnership with Affinity that we can actually give you sales lift. I mean, we are as collaborative as you guys possibly want, because really, like, I want you to have the data, because I'd rather you or us figure out together how to optimize a campaign than lose money.
Yeah. And what's on the horizon for expanding McDonald's first-party data assets, just to better understand and reach all of those global fans that we were just talking about?
Yeah, we currently have 170 million active loyalty members. Oh my God. We're on the path to 250 million in the next 2 years. I mean, that's just an amazing asset. And really, what we're looking at is how do we make sure that we put the customer experience at the center of that, and thinking about each time we connect with them, how are we being more meaningful, big or small, with those touch points. And so we do look across our own channels, our paid channels, and start to think about what's the cadence, what's the frequency, what are the messaging that you can look across that to really make sure you're delivering the most impact. And we need all the pipes in place, we need all the data in place in order to do that. But we see the benefit coming through when we know our customers and we can leverage that first party. We can help to know the customers we don't have in our loyalty base even better, and really create more meaningful experiences through that.
Yeah, I mean, I've sometimes said it's like I can only imagine the incredible asset that McDonald's sits on, but people like yourself spend so much kind of time, effort, and money trying to understand your customer and also your future customers. And that data asset is just an incredible thing to unlock now. And I've said before, like, now we finally have the ability to do that. You can point all of that work at all of this incredible media. It's just an amazing work that you guys have done at McDonald's. Congratulations.
Yeah, and we have so much we know about our customer within our four walls. And then when we bring in second and third party really to create that full picture, it really gives us some great insights into our fans.
Amazing. So as we see, we're about to get kicked off here in just a few minutes. But to close out, so we're asking all of our speakers today just to give us a preview of what the year ahead looks like. So, Jamie, I'll start with you. What's the one thing you're going to focus on this year in 2025?
First, every single question.
I know. Why? I think we're going back and forth.
I'm joking. I would say more immersive experiences. If you think about like ESPN, you're watching a game, you're able to bet, your fantasy, it's all in one place. But then if you also think about the behaviors in which we all consume, right now you're either streaming, like you're scrolling, you're sharing something, or you're shopping. So I think more personalization of figuring out how to connect with these audiences and meet them where they are and make sure that the experience is thoughtful and it's not just the same thing in every environment.
And same question. What's the one thing, if you think about, I'm sure this is a tough question when you zoom out globally across McDonald's, but what's the one thing that you're excited to focus on this year for the brands?
Well, I'm glad you're asking everyone, because I need to listen to everyone's answer, because I don't have that one thing. Like, I think that we are at such an exciting time. Like, when we just think about, everything you can do and the opportunities on the addressability and commerce and shopping and everything we're talking about today, like, there's just so much opportunity there. I also think it's an incredibly challenging time. Brand safety, we can't keep up, take our eye off of that. And it is so dynamic. Like, I guess I shouldn't leave the stage without saying AI, right? But we've been using AI.
Who had that? Wow, who had that at 29 minutes? A lot of people lost.
How do you like that? But in media, we've been using AI for a while. But the difference is, I think we're really at that point where it's going to fundamentally change how we do media. And so, just, I guess my focus right now is staying curious about all of that and hearing how publishers are evolving and just the landscape and the technology out there. It's going to be a wild ride.
It's like all the things that we've been talking about are happening now. I think the challenge is, like you said, it's like picking the thing that you want to do and then figuring out how to not just do it once, but scale it.
Yeah, and doing that with great partners. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.